Hey, good kind of people. What is going on? Lee Sanders here, checking out an all new The RCWR show dropping for Friday night, July 16th, 2021. TGIF. We made it. We made it. For those of you that don't have work this weekend, I'm sadly not one of them. I got to work on one of my weekends this weekend, but hey, it's still good, right? It's still good. We're here, though. Weekend is here. A lot of stuff going on. We got Slammiversary. We've got the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. We'll definitely preview those respected cards as it stands right now on this show tonight. And we'll also do an edition of Call That Match, where we'll offer predictions on what's going to be going down for those respected pay-per-views. Smackdown was lit tonight. We'll definitely get into that as well. But hey, man, before we even get started into this show, I definitely want to send a heartfelt best wishes, thoughts, condolences, prayers, just power of positivity and strength right now to everybody affected by the loss of rap hip-hop icon Biz Markie. I mean, this really had rocked me big time, because I'm a big fan of Biz Markie, actually. Big fan of his work. Right down to the point. It's crazy when I first heard about it, too, because I actually got off work just a couple of hours ago. And I had said to the missus, I said, hey, hun, make sure you come get me on time because I got to do a show tonight because she happened to have the car. And I said, hey, make sure you get me on time because I got to do a show tonight and everything. And I got to turn right back around, go into work a little bit early in the morning. So, hook a brother up. And she was telling me, yeah, no problem. I got you covered. So, we get in the car, we're enjoying a nice little talk and everything. And we're talking a lot more about the Chris Jericho cruise. Some of you guys may know if you happen to frequent around checking out other podcasts. Shout out to particularly my good friend and Don Tony and my boys over at Soup. But we were. Sorry, I got a brain fart just now. It happens. It's live, pal. But anyway, the news pretty much was first revealed on those outlets. But yeah, I'm actually going to be going on the Chris Jericho cruise. I know that last year before the pandemic had went down and shit just went crazy, I actually was supposed to do the Jericho cruise, but me and the wifey decided, you know what, timing just seems a little bit off, and sadly the amount of money that we had put down on the cruise, although it was a rather small amount, it was not refundable, but we were like, okay, whatever, it's all good. And then last year, we wanted to do the Jericho cruise, but as we all know, the pandemic had happened. And ultimately, the Jericho cruise was postponed. So what they basically did, they gave us an option back then last year. They said, look, we can either refund you the money or we can just hold on to this. And whenever things resume, we can pretty much pick up where we left off. And it was, okay. So we kept going back and forth about it, and then it just got to a point where now you cannot get that refund anymore. So wifey told me about a couple of weeks ago, she said, what do you think about this Jericho cruise? And I'm going, really? You want to really have this talk right now about the Jericho cruise? Like, seriously, we're going to talk about the Jericho cruise? Like, we're going into our wedding, goddammit. Let's think about the wedding first, and we'll worry about a Jericho cruise and all that after the fact. And then, of course, AWESOMECON is coming up, and it's like, what's going on with that Jericho? And I'm thinking to myself, didn't we just have this conversation? Like, I thought we were not going to do the Jericho cruise. But, yeah, we actually are going to be doing the Jericho cruise in October. So I'm pretty excited for that. Don't worry, guys. I'll definitely have a lot of camera footage, photos, videos, the whole 9 yards and everything. But we were talking about the Jericho cruise and some other stuff on the way home tonight. And I haven't even had dinner yet. I snacked on a little bit of fruit, but I haven't had dinner yet. I don't feel too bad. Don't feel too bad for me, by the way. I mean, I did have breakfast before I left out for work, but yeah, it's like, usually I like to come home and have some dinner. So I literally, as soon as I got in the house, I'm literally going right into the studio. I'm in front of the computer. I'm just taking down some last minute notes, preparing for the show here tonight and everything. And right when Smackdown is about to come on, I'm just checking out my social media feed, checking some EMs and everything, and I see the news about Biz Markie. I'm going, holy shit, are you serious? 57 years old. That is just too young. That is just too young. There's no excuses. That's just too young. And, you know, Biz Markie definitely hits close to home over here because Biz Markie, he actually resided in the DC metropolitan area. Matter of fact, I believe he was living in Baltimore, Maryland. I know definitely he was living out in Maryland. So to hear that, I mean, I've got friends, family members, hell, even wifey's coworkers, boss that runs her practice used to stay running into Biz Markie. And everything that I've gathered from people that have actually hung out with him, actually know him on a personal level, they say he is one of the most coolest, humble fucking dudes that you would ever come across. Very approachable, just very laid back. It's essentially like what you see in interviews that he's given over the years and everything. What you see is pretty much what you get. Life of the party. He loves spreading nothing but positive energy, putting smiles on people's faces. Pretty much that's how he is. That's how he was, rather. I'm sorry. That's how he was in person. I've heard nothing but good things about him. So 57 years old. Now look, before anybody asks, I mean, look, especially if you've been a Biz Markie fan like me, you know that the man has been battling for some years now. The man's been battling diabetes. I mean, that's pretty much been his Achilles heel, really, is the diabetes. And I remember at one point there was some celebrity fit reality show that he had went on, and he was trying to lose some weight. And out of all the contestants, he had lost the most weight and everything. And I remember when he was that small, I'm like, all right, he's fucking doing it. Like, okay, cool. I hadn't seen him with the amount of weight that he had lost on that reality TV show. I hadn't seen him get so small to where he had got, not since his early days, when he was basically first breaking out and everything in the mid-late 80s going into the 90s there. And, it didn't last that long, though. That build that he had, it wasn't permanent. It did not last that long. And eventually there was a relapse, and he picked up not just the weight that he pretty much had when he was getting ready to do that reality show, but he picked up then some. And so he ended up, I just remember the times in recent years when I would see him do interviews or make little guest appearances. I mean, he just looked as if he was struggling. I'm not making fun of him, not throwing no shade in any type of way. I'm just telling you my 2 cents from a distance. Brother looked as if he was struggling. Like it was painful with all that amount of weight that he was carrying and everything. And sadly, when you throw in diabetes on top of that, a lot of people have this misconception that are diabetics as well. A lot of people, and take it from somebody that is a type 2 diabetic, I can tell you, the biggest misconception that's out there is, even though I have diabetes, it's okay because all I have to do is just take this little magical pill once, twice a day, and anything that I had ate, it's all good. I'll be all right. I can go on ahead and I can eat that cheeseburger I was eyeballing the other day. I can go have those wings. I can go eat that pizza. I can go, you get the gist. I can eat that greasy, fatty ass food that's high on carbs and all that other shit. It's like, if you're a diabetic, you either got to go all the way. I mean, it's one thing don't get me wrong. It's one thing if you're a diabetic and you go, man, I really feel like some chips. Okay, well, one, you got to think about portion size. Two, you got to think about the carbs. You definitely got to think about the cholesterol as well. So, okay, are you going to pick up that usual bag of Utz potato chips, or are you going to go for the reduced fat potato chips that's low on sodium, or, fat free, or, you understand what I'm saying? Or, baked chips? Are you going to go that route? So everything is, I can tell you as a diabetic, everything is trial and error. Just because you lose the weight, it doesn't mean you have a clean bill of health. You can lose all the weight that you want, but if you're, and you can try to justify it by saying, oh, well, I've taken it easy. I'm not eating 2 cheeseburgers and a big old serving, 3 people serving of French fries in one sitting. No. Now I'm eating just 1 cheeseburger and a handful of fries a day. And look at me. Look at all of this weight that I've lost. It's like, nah. Your body is like a car. Look at your body as a car, and look at it as an engine, and what all you put into it. You feel where I'm coming from? What all you put into it is pretty much going to... There's a favorite quote of a Metallica song that I really, really fuck with. My lifestyle determines my death style. So if you are putting constantly a bunch of crap into your body, then yeah, your lifespan is probably going to be pretty damn short. But that's the biggest misconception, when you're a diabetic. You just think that, I remember early on after I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I'm just thinking, oh, well, I got these pills, like, nah. And a lot of people have that same misconception. Oh, I'm taking my pills, so I can go eat this. I can go. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to be smart about what you're eating. You got to be on top of your exercising. You got to be smart like that. And diabetes is what really kicked Biz Marquie's ass and complicated things even worse, sadly. It just goes to show you, too, that, look at my man, Jay Dilla. Oh, man, I love Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla was my boy, man. Diabetes. You saw how skinny, those of you that follow rap and hip hop, you saw how skinny Jay Dilla always was throughout his career. But that's one that was struggling with diabetes. Look at Phife Dawg from A Tribe Called Quest. He was struggling with diabetes as well. So, don't think that, it only hits, the obese people. It only hurts, fat people. No, that's total big misconception. Nah, not like that at all. But man, when I just think about when it comes to beatboxers, Biz Markie, nobody could do it. Nobody could do it as good as him. Also, when it came to spinning the records, and just, he was so fucking good at that. It's interesting because, I remember when the first 2 albums had dropped out and everything, and man, so many good hidden gems from those first 2 albums, man. Really first 3 albums, but the first 2 is what I home in on the most. Take your pick. Vapors. Or you want to go with Make Music With Your Mouth, Biz, or you want to go with Nobody Beats the Biz, or Pickin' Boogers. My man has so many fucking hits. And of course, the one that really made him infamous, Just a Friend. That's the one that had really, to this day, still holds up extremely well, man. It still holds up extremely well. But man, you want to talk about somebody that's the one thing I'll say about Biz Markie, man. When it came to him throwing down lyrics to his rap, to his hip hop, he was always trying to be upbeat. He was always trying to put smiles on people's faces. He was all about just putting you in a really good, chill mood. And it's so funny, too, because it goes back to what I was talking about a couple of minutes ago about how people that actually, were either friends with him out here in the DMV, knew him, ran into him frequently, always engaged him in conversations and all that. You just think about that whole flow, that whole feeling that you had when you were listening to his stuff. And literally, that's the guy that you had got in person. You know, you hear not for nothing. I mean, but this guy was a millionaire. And the fact that he would even take time to, you feel where I'm coming from? That's the true definition of a character that has humbled beginnings, doesn't forget where he came from, and tries to do his best to pay it forward and treat everybody the way he wants to be treated, and that's with respect. So definitely, once again, nothing but mad love, thoughts, prayers to the family, friends, colleagues of one Biz Markie. Look, it happened with my own grandpa. Okay, my grandpa Cotton in Chicago. I remember when me and my mom had, I was probably 9 going on 10. I remember we went to go stay with my grandpa. And at this point, my mom just wanted for us, to have a place to stay just for a couple of months till she could save up some money, because she wanted to go move to California. She wanted to be closer to her brothers and everything. And her brothers were pretty much telling her, look, if you can make your way out here to California, we can hook you up. We can hook up you and Lee. You all have a place to stay. Man, we got all the connections out here. We could hook you up with a good job, all of that. And my grandpa was like, well, won't you come stay here? I could use help around the house anyway. And, my grandpa had diabetes, high cholesterol. It was bad. It was bad. I used to think it was really cool when he would go grocery shopping, usually once a month. Now, before anybody says, you got to remember, and some families still do this to this very day, but when my grandpa went to grocery shopping once a month, he would have a friend of his that had served in the military with him, and they would come back, and man, it would just be groceries after groceries after groceries after groceries. And I mean, I remember one time I asked my mom, like, man, this is so much food. Like how much is he spending here? My grandpa once a month would spend about $500 to $600 on groceries. And the way he would split that up, he would have about $300 of that go to nothing but meats. So any meat that you can think of, that's where it was going. And he had all of that meat go into a deep freezer. And then the rest of it, he would do a lot of junk food. I remember that. There would be a lot of cakes, Little Debbie snacks, chips. There'd be all kinds of shit. And then maybe there would be, stuff you would actually have to cook, like pinto beans, lima beans, macaroni, spaghetti. There'd be stuff like that. Not so much veggies. And I remember there was a scary incident that had went down with my grandpa. And long story short, he had to go to the hospital. So that's how we find out about his high cholesterol. That was what was new. But what he was kind of hiding from my mom was the fact that he was diagnosed with diabetes. And so we got the doctor saying, hey, all that food that he likes to eat, like, you got to put a curb stop on it. You got to, because he keeps going at the rate that he's going. He's going to have some serious problems. He's going to have a freaking stroke and or a heart attack. Like, he could go into a diabetic coma. Like, you got to stop him from eating all this stuff. Try to have him go out, get some exercise. Just, walking every day. Just once a day. Like, that'll help him out tremendously. So, we tried to do that, but he was so stubborn. He was so caught up in his own ways. And it was heartbreaking, because I'll never forget, there was an incident that had occurred where my mom was trying to make this really nice, healthy meal. I mean, veggies. I remember like some fish, healthy. Everything was just healthy. Nice salad. Everything was healthy. and he didn't want to eat it. You know, he was cursing her out and all that. And that for her was kind of like the final straw. It was like, okay, you know what? Because she was actually entertaining staying there. Because at one point he said, look, you and Lee stay. I'll put the house in you all's name. You know, you don't have to go to California. You know, just, you know, stay here with me. You know, I'm lonely. I could use the help, you know. But that just shook my mom to her core when that one incident had occurred. And you know, he had a stepson that was there, so I guess he would have been my step uncle, but he had a serious drug problem. Very seldom was he there at the house, and even when he was there, he wasn't taking care of my grandpa. And tragically, once we left for California, my grandpa didn't even make it 3 months. He did not even make it 3 months. When we left him, he lost about at least 30 pounds. He was walking a little bit better, right to the point. He wasn't using his cane as much. Out of 100%, he got to a point where he was using his cane maybe about 50% of the time. Whereas before, oh shit, like a solid 100%, he was relying on that cane. But when we left him, he was good. And then after we left, I would say like less than 90 days, he died. From what we were able to gather, the son-in-law was just whatever we did to try to have grandpa going in the right direction. That fucking step uncle just pretty much did the reversal. So he pretty much was in the shitter when we first got there. So yeah, you know, you got to take your health seriously, man. You got to. So whatever pain Biz Markie was suffering, man, just yeah, hopefully in the afterlife there, he's all right, man. And rough year for the hip hop rap industry, man. I mean, fuck, Biz Markie, and then before that, DMX got you wondering now. Oh, didn't we also lose? There was somebody else we had lost this year as well. His name will come to me in a second. I think it was the guy that was doing the song, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I remember reporting on his death when it had happened, because right before that there was some lawsuit that was going on with him, and his name will come to me in a second, but there was a lawsuit that was going on with him. Was it I like to move it, move? Was it him? I think it was him. I'm trying to figure out who the hell sung that fucking song. Why am I thinking Real to Real? I'm picturing Real to Real. I don't know why. I think maybe it was them. I might have my guys mixed up. It'll come to me. I'll follow up in the comment section and let you guys know who I'm talking about. But it was some guy. He died in Florida, from what I remember. And yeah, so there's 3 right there in 2021. There's 3 people. Now, with that guy that I just talked about, I mean, he had, like, if you want to get technical, he had a one-hit wonder song. You know, but I don't know. I mean, you could either say he counts, or you could be like, nah, that don't really count, lead. But all right, so Biz Markie, DMX, those are the 2. You know, you can't help but wonder before this year is out, who's going to be the third one, if there is going to be a third one, because as y'all like to say, shit comes in threes. Shit comes in threes. We'll see. But liven up the mood a little bit. Good Smackdown tonight, man. I gotta tell you, I saw Smackdown in its entirety. Man, so great to have the fans back in attendance. And all throughout the night, every time Smackdown was on commercial break, I kept getting the ad from my respected neck of the woods, how WWE was going to be returning the weekend of September 11th for a super show, talking about see all your favorite superstars, tickets still available. I'm going, yeah, but next go around. Give me a Raw, give me a Smackdown. I'll take you up on that one. But to see the fans back in attendance tonight in Texas, oh man. Oh, if there was ever a crowd to return in front of, man, that was the spot. that was the spot. And you know, look, I know AEW, they pretty much have already gotten a head start on bringing the action back to the fans. Fans are now back in attendance and everything. But you know what? Seriously, I can't help but give mad props to WWE, because when you stop and think about it, WrestleMania 17, 9/11, post 9/11, you know, and you think about the first pandemic show for WWE, those three instances that I just talked about, what do they all have in common? Stop and think about that for a second. What do they all have in common? They all have Houston in common. Every single time when you look at it, like something monumental, something that is of historic purposes, wrestling or non-wrestling related, you know, that first like major, like Houston for WWE, there's something that's very magical about it. And I tell you what, man, the crowd that was there in Texas tonight, I love that Houston, Texas energy. I felt it. I was getting goosebumps on my hands, just in my hands and my forearms. It was just all, it was spreading big time. Then to get Vince McMahon to come out, and you're going, oh man, wonder what Vince McMahon is going to be saying here. What's up with him? What's he going to say? And for him to just basically say, where the hell y'all been? And then just walk on to the back. You're like, yeah, true Vince McMahon fashion. Okay, cool. That's badass. I mean, really set the tone. Look, the new stage design, I love it. It's pretty fucking cool. I personally think looks very, very wide, much wider. And I also love the fact that, because remember, there was that period in time where right before the pandemic, WWE decided, yeah, you know what? We're not going to do the pyro. We're not going to invest the money in the steam and all that other. No. We're just going to have you come out and do your thing. We'll maybe entertain doing that type of stuff for the pay-per-views, or at least the major 4 or 5 pay-per-views. But yeah, well, we're good on all of those theatrics. They went into this bad boy all out. Love it. I mean, it felt like a spectacle event. I loved it. Because look, after all, when wrestling fans be going to these joints, they want to feel like they're checking out something that's pretty special, something that's pretty memorable, monumental, that's going to have them talking, mentioning it to their friends and family for years to come. And maybe by mentioning it to other people, it'll entice them to try to check out the action for themselves. So I love the fact that everything that went into this production set for Smackdown, and pretty much what's going to be the ongoing Stapleton for WWE Raw and everything, I love it. I freaking love it. Good shit right there. You know, I know some people were maybe nitpicking a little bit and bringing up the question about whether or not the fans that's in attendance, if really what we were hearing from the fans all throughout the night was genuine, or if it was a case where, you know, motherfuckers were piping in audio, you know, once again and everything. Like, this is kind of one of those nights where you just go, man, you know what? Of all the nights for WWE for tonight, and then going into their pay-per-view weekend, and then to be going into Raw and next week's SmackDown and NXT, like, just chill with that. Just chill with that noise. Don't be focused so much on that, right? You got to look past that, because if you're just focused on that one thing, you're going to miss all that is beautiful, all that is just amazing. You feel where I'm coming from. So you just got to pump the brakes on that. Seriously. Like I told you guys last week, when it came to the official final Raw Thunderdome, I said to you guys, look, make no mistake about it, WWE is probably going to still go with the little sound effects. They're probably still going to be fucking with the sound a little bit to try to figure out ways to entice the live crowds. I told you guys that. I did. But just because you got what you got tonight and then what you're going to be getting in the future, you shouldn't be putting it under a microscope and scrutinize it. Your mindset right now should just be, isn't it weird when you really stop and think about it? Really, really, take a step back and think about it. Some of these fans be the same fans that shitted on the Thunderdome, didn't like the fact that WWE was doing this stuff with the Thunderdome, didn't like the whole virtual fan stuff, none of that, right? I mean, they were just picking that bad boy apart. Oh, the WWE product was better when it was in front of fans. What the hell is this garbage? This is stupid. Oh, rather WWE actually perform with no virtual fans, with no sound effects than this bullshit. Remember that? You've seen them on social media. You've seen them in the forums. I know you have, right? And now, okay, you got your wish. You want it for WWE. You said, hey, I prefer WWE actually in front of real fans than this bullshit that's going on. Okay, now you finally got your wish. You got WWE back in front of actual fans. Fans that are very excited to be returning to these events once again. Fans that have been supportive of the WWE product for years, decades. Their children grew up on this. You feel what I'm saying? It's like a generational type of deal that's going on. You also got fans that are, you're like, man, I just love and support all things pro wrestling. The hell with the promotion. I just love and support all things pro wrestling. Man, I'm happy that these things are back into full effect again. We're getting back to that sense of normalcy. Hell yeah. And yet the same fans, not those great fans that I was talking about, but the negative nannies, I like to call them. The negative nannies that were shitting on the whole Thunderdome. Oh, get it back out there in front of the fans. Now these same fans go, oh man, yeah, those reactions, those were fake. You know those reactions were fake. Oh yeah, you know what, man? Look at all them people that's not wearing a mask. Look at that. Look at the people that are not wearing COVID non-believers. What's my point? You can't please everybody, nor should you try to. At the end of the day, you should just give a damn about yourself, your friends, your family, and what makes you happy. What makes you happy? Me, on this day, I see clearly. I love what I got tonight. I did. I was excited. I was right there every single minute of Smackdown tonight. I was right there with everybody. Loved it. From the moment that the show opened up and you had Roman Reigns come out. Oh, what a great ovation Roman Reigns had received. I mean, that was the weird part. It didn't seem mixed. That was the weird part. It did not seem mixed, at least to my keen ears. And I'm pushing a 72-inch 4K TV. So, I mean, and I got the sound bar that I personally installed. Man, that shit was on fire when Roman Reigns came out there. Then Mysterio's getting the reactions that they got. Edge getting a nice big ass pop as well. As far as reactions of the entire night from the crowd, Roman and Edge, both of those guys had the biggest pops of the night. Hands down. But the Roman Reigns reaction, that really kind of took me back. I wasn't anticipating that. I was anticipating that it was going to be mixed reactions. But it really seemed more pro Roman Reigns, despite the fact that he's a heel. I love that. I fucking love that. Great match opener between those guys that I had mentioned. The team of Roman Reigns and the Usos, they went over post-match. Little beat down there. Edge, Roman Reigns, intensifying that eventual matchup they're going to be having this Sunday and everything. And again, we're going to be talking about that SummerSlam card in a little bit. Offer you predictions with that card, preview as well. Good opener. Good strong shit right there. I love post-match, Edge and the Usos, they're backstage. Kayla Braxton catches up with Edge, and she's trying to get his thoughts basically going into the weekend and everything. And you got Seth Rollins that just comes in there hackling. I loved it. I'm telling you, man, this new incarnation of Seth Rollins, it's been really growing on me. I'm really digging it. I'm really digging it. The suits, particularly, I'm really digging Rollins. I am feeling those. My man got some mad bling. I got to give it up to him. He's got some mad bling when it comes to his suits. But he said something that was very interesting to Edge. And it was one of those moments where you got to go, okay, how long have I been a WWE fan? And can I recall exactly what Seth Rollins is referencing here? He says to Seth Rollins, hey, I hope that it's you that actually becomes the Universal Champion, because I'm definitely going into Money in the Bank and I'm going to become Mr. Money in the Bank, and I will cash it in on you if you're the new Universal Champion, because I'm going to finish what I started 7 years ago when I had my boot on your neck and I didn't pull the trigger. And you're going, ooh. So I know for like newer fans or maybe younger fans, yeah, there's some history there between Edge and Seth Rollins. You pretty much got to rewind it back to 2014 when Seth Rollins pretty much had the whole authority deal that was going on. Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, they were the authority. Seth Rollins was running around with J&J Security. If you really want to look at it, that basically J&J Security was pretty much Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, the Stooges for Vince McMahon. That's pretty much how you really need to look at it. But yeah, all of that was going on, Big Show had came back and he had this white hot run. I mean, fans were legit happy. No bullshit. I know that's kind of hard for folks that maybe have came into the WWE product in recent years and they've been on the Big Show go away bandwagon. I hear you. But no, when Big Show came back, I mean, there was a really great crossing that was going on between him and the Authority, and it made excellent TV, believe it or not. It made excellent TV. And then somehow, I won't put any spoilers out there because I know some of you guys might be a little bit curious, and if you got the network, you can easily, or YouTube, you can go hop on and check it out that way. But Big Show ended up becoming part of the Authority because Triple H and them, they came across some type of information, and I believe there was a case of blackmail that was involved in some other shit. So Big Show was pretty much doing their dirty work and everything. And it was the Seth Rollins show. Seth Rollins was just running the gambit. I mean, he was the guy on top. A lot of people look at that run that Seth Rollins had as the champion, and some would make the argument that was probably his weakest run as champion because, it's one thing if, you think about the times that Edge was a champion, especially those runs when he was a heel champion. You look at those and you're going, meh. As a matter of fact, I got to think about it a little bit more, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe all the World Heavyweight Championship runs Edge had, I believe they all were him as a heel. So if he were to win this Sunday, this would be the first time that Edge in his illustrious career won a World Heavyweight Championship as a babyface. I gotta actually go back and don't spoil it for me. But I'll actually go back this weekend and I'll cross-reference. But I'm like 70% that all the World Championships Edge won, he was a heel. So I'll let you guys know when we get ready to do Money in the Bank, the post show this weekend for sure. But yeah, so where was I? I was talking about Edge. Yeah, so you got that history that's in there. So there was it was the final Raw of 2014. You had Edge and Christian, they were hosting a peep show. They had Seth Rollins, J&J Security, Big Show, they all were there. And one of the main reasons why Seth Rollins was on the peep show, he basically was feuding with John Cena. He wanted for John Cena to reinstate the Authority because you had some match that went down. Now that escapes me right now, but there was a match that went down that John Cena won, and as a result of John Cena winning, he and he alone, not Vince McMahon, not the WWE board, not the fans, nobody, but only John Cena had the power to reinstate the Authority. And Seth Rollins wasn't liking this shit, because by Seth Rollins not having the Authority, it's pretty much a case of cue up Creed song, "Who's got my back now?" You know, it's kind of one of those type of deals. So what they ended up doing, they being Seth Rollins teasing for John Cena to come out and saying, okay, I see we got to do this the hard way, takes a Money in the Bank briefcase and pretty much cold clocks the hell out of Christian with it. Edge, man, and you look at Edge from 2014, clean shaven, extremely short hair. Did I mention short hair? Compared to now, I mean, it's like night and day. I mean, it's almost, if you were to take that image of Edge from back then, from 2014 to now, you could almost say their Indeed profile when they were looking for the job, and then pretty much Edge where he is now, and go after they got the job, right? Only thing missing in that grizzly bear version of Edge with the long hair and all that is just him throwing up a couple of hennies down, right? But yeah, Seth Rollins then focused his attack on Edge, and he was about to curb stomp the shit out of Edge, like on the neck. He actually had his foot on Edge's neck, and he was getting ready to curb stomp his ass. Cena came out, and Seth Rollins was like, "No, John, no, don't come any closer. I swear. You know, I could do a better Seth Rollins voice, but it's a little bit late, and I'm a little bit kind of froggy. But he's like, nah, you take a step closer, and I promise you, I will cripple this man. Don't come any closer. Give me what I want. Reinstate the Authority. You know, I know, everybody knows you're the only guy that can reinstate the Authority. So do it or else." And reluctantly, John Cena went on ahead and he gave in. He was like, you win. The Authority is reinstated. So there was a whole beatdown after that. I remember John Cena was laid out. Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, they came out. J&J Security, Seth Rollins, they were all embracing each other, celebrating and all that. Triple H, Stephanie McMahon came out, ton of fucking boos. And that final Raw of 2014 went off the air with the Authority back in stride again, to quote one of my favorite Maze songs with featuring Frankie Beverly. So a lot of history right there. So I mean, you really take a step back and you think about that. You got to give WWE a lot of props, because we're going into this Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and the seeds that they've essentially planted there for a Edge Seth Rollins matchup at SummerSlam, you got to admit, pretty damn good how they're going about it. By the way, we'll talk about that whole news about Goldberg. Y'all may be kind of taken back by some of the things I have to say in regards to that news as well, but we'll get into that tonight as well. So I love that tease there. I love that tease there. And then when you see how SmackDown ended tonight with Seth Rollins on top, you can't help but go, damn, is this a taste? Is this a preview of things to come possibly at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view? Because remember that main event match that was on SmackDown tonight. That main event match, 4 guys from the SmackDown side of things. I remember it was Big E. By the way, Big E having that run-in with Paul Heyman right before the main event match, and he pretty much was trolling Paulie. I fucking love that. What is it that he had said to Paul Heyman too? He told Paul Heyman, he said, "Oh, Paul Heyman!" He's like, "Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your future Money in the Bank winner and feel the power. Then he goes in and tells him how, hey, on a more serious tip, hey, I saw what happened to your boy Roman Reigns there. It looks like Edge got a hold of him. You get it? A hold? You get it? And he was just, I love that. So you got that little tease right there of Roman Reigns, Big E, and look, this is something, you got to rewind it back. I have been calling for Big E, Roman Reigns, SummerSlam. I've been calling for that, like, if not at the earliest, this past year's WrestleMania, late 2020, I was calling for Big E, Roman Reigns. It's cool when you got people that's saying within the past couple of weeks or a month or two, but to be that far back, long-time listeners will definitely back me up. I have been wanting to see that for the longest, and it looks like we very well may possibly get that. Very, very well, we may possibly get that. So you got that idea that's floating out there, and that kind of friction. That you look at the way that feud is kind of. Wait a minute, we're kind of. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. That main event match though, Big E, Seth Rollins. Who else was in there? It was a fatal 4-way. Nakamura, Kevin Owens, and then Seth Rollins came out on top. I don't have a problem with Seth Rollins coming out on top. I don't have a problem with that. If I had any issue whatsoever, what I don't understand is why could we not have, other than Big E, why couldn't we maybe have, I'm just looking at these names, why couldn't we have Nakamura? I'm just trying to understand the logic there. I really am. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Big E was okay with the loss tonight. He was still okay with the loss tonight. But I'm just saying, did we really have to have Big E be the one to get pinned in that main event fatal 4-way? You can make the argument, nah, probably not, Lee, nah, especially considering what happened with Kevin Owens earlier in the night. So you're telling me after Baron Corbin takes a fucking stunner by Owens, he's that beat up, he's that bad, he's that bruised, he's that damaged that he can't go out for the main event match and try to extract some type of revenge? He's just chilling. He's chilling back at the hotel. Or in a van down by the river. Yeah, Baron Corbin coming out there talking about how, his home is about to be foreclosed. His daughter's eating spaghetti in a can and instead of the real stuff with the ragu or prego, and he's going on and on and on and on. I'm going, yeah, but besides all of that, you got some serious leftovers on top of your scalp there. Like, you need to shave that. That gray is whack, or whatever rhyme you can put in there with gray. But yeah, you got him out there. That was funny though, from this standpoint. I like the fact that Baron Corbin talked about his Corbin Fund. And folks, I don't know if you put it, the name of that site, I don't know if you all have put that in the web search bar. It's an actual real site. I bullshit you not. It is a actual real site. And the funny part, when you go to it, just put in CorbinFund.com. And it reads the following: targeted goal 100,000. So he's what he mentioned on Smackdown tonight. Targeted goal 100,000. Basically, Baron Corbin is hoping that with WWE superstars chipping in on this and with WWE fans chipping in on this, they will be able collectively to raise the money that Baron is looking for to help him, as that Michael Bolton song goes, I'll be back on my feet again. I'll be back on my feet again. Yeah, Hilarious, right? Now, I kind of have a little bit of a bone to pick with this current story arc. And the way it was so elaborate, the way they went about laying it out tonight. And I'm going to get to that in a few seconds because I definitely want to get you guys' thoughts about this. But when you actually go to the Corbin Fun website, the images they selected too are just hilarious. But you got here, due to financial difficulties, this page is currently under construction. However, Baron Corbin finds strength in the ongoing support and prayers from the WWE Universe and looks forward to your donations soon. Fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Kevin Owens coming out there, Corbin saying, hey, I hope that with you coming out here, you joining, maybe that will make the rest of the superstars fall in line. They'll join suit and the fans will chip in as well. Like, I know you got money. I know you got money, Kevin. I mean, look at you. You don't believe in outfits and suits. You like wearing the same stuff, and fighting words for Kevin Owens, who pretty much just stunned the shit out of him. So we couldn't have, later on in that main event match, we couldn't have Baron Corbin come out looking to extract a little bit of revenge there. And essentially, Rollins gets the dub thanks to a Corbin assist there. We couldn't. I'm just saying. Because at least this way, Big E's still looking pretty good. Again, a loss. He's okay either way, but we really didn't need to do that with Big E. Nakamura, okay, you could make the argument that Nakamura's got this whole new thing that's going on there. Although, I can't help but question in storyline the tendencies of a babyface that supposedly took care of the big bad guy in Baron Corbin and is now really sticking it to that heel by buying whatever vehicle Corbin used to have, or Corbin used to, I'm gonna get that as well. That comes off rather dickish. That comes off rather heelish. So, I think WWE probably had a little bit of second thoughts about it. I wouldn't be surprised if we're done with the whole Nakamura Baron thing, because obviously what happened tonight, you feel me? So, but yeah, pretty weird. Now, question that I have for you guys, and those of you that will be watching this on demand, or you'll be listening to this on demand and on the downloads, do me a huge favor. Go on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show, and look for this episode. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section about this. Do you think that WWE, you think it's okay for them to do this story arc that they're doing with Baron Corbin, now that they've really elaborated on it much more? I ask that question because, some of the stuff that he was saying, not for nothing, but legit actual people lost their jobs due to the pandemic. Legit folks were struggling paycheck to paycheck. For some people, their whole career as they knew it, that they had been doing for years upon years, was no more. And if they were lucky, they were able to find work elsewhere, but it wasn't for the same amount of money, same kind of salary. People had to do jobs that they otherwise would never, ever find themselves doing. Working Wall Street one day, and now you're a bouncer at a club, maybe, or some, you feel what I'm saying? So, I just can't help but wonder if it's a bit too close to home for some fans. If it's a little bit borderline tasteless for some fans, what is currently going on there with Baron Corbin. I'm very curious if some of you guys are kind of thinking that way, you feel that way to a certain extent, and if not, why not? What makes what's going on with Baron Corbin so different to what's actually been going on out there in the real world these past 15 months? I tell you what, seeing some of the reactions from the fans that were in attendance, they were they were kind of mixed. I must admit, it seemed kind of mixed. You had somebody trying to start up the chants "You Deserve It," but it really didn't take off the way that it should have. You also had a lot of silence there. So, usually reactions like that, you can kind of take that to the bank and go, yeah, don't think that's really the right nerve you want to be picking with the fans, considering what all the nation had went through the past 15 months. And to see a couple of people that were actually smiling at the guys' misfortunes and storyline there, I don't know that. I'm not overanalyzing. I'm only telling you guys what I was thinking in real time as this is just panning out. Just the first reactions that's coming to my mind. Because not for nothing, but we were led to the impression until Baron Corbin spoke even more elaborate about this. Oh, he lost the crown, and you're going, okay, so he lost these endorsement deals. He lost this. He lost that. Like, wow, all that from a fucking crown? You had all that going on because of the crown? Like, seriously, dude? But now that we've heard what we heard tonight, it's kind of one of those. So let me know what you guys think in regards to that. I'm most curious. Smackdown Women's Championship match between Bianca Belair and Carmella. Look, nobody thought for 1 second Carmella was going to become the Smackdown Women's Champion. Nobody thought that for 1 second. Decent match. Decent matchup. Nice reactions to Carmella. She played that heel to the I gotta tell you, man, Carmella looked extra sexy tonight, but you know what? Bianca Belair looked even sexier. Don't tell my wifey that. She looked even sexier. Yeah, nice match. I mean, look, predictable outcome though. Very predictable outcome. We all had suspected that, right? So no real shocker right there. Also, now speaking of shockers, I'll tell you something that was a shocker tonight. We see our boy Sami Zayn coming out there. He's trying to have the WWE fans drink his big old cup of a conspiracy theory. And all of a sudden, cue up the music of one Finn Balor. Finn Balor making his return to the main roster, if you will, to the moving on up shows back on SmackDown here. Pretty badass. Now look, not for nothing, but the last time that we saw Finn Balor in action was against Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship, if I'm not mistaken, and it was on NXT TV. And then before that, he took on Karrion Kross at the Stand and Deliver takeover event. Both matches in which he lost. So since May, we have not seen Balor. And remember, we had that little battery thing that was going on, and boy, I tell you, almost bipolar when you think about it. So we get these weeks upon weeks of this fucking battery icon, and you're like, oh, what's going on here? Okay, something's charging up, man. Somebody's got shit service, man. It's taking a long time powering up, man. Go week into week, week after week after week. You're at 48%, and then next week you're at 55%. Like, goddamn, you got you a slow ass charger, bruh. What you got, Cricket? What you got, Bumblebee? What the fuck you got going on over there? Right? What's the old people's phone that's going on there? The old Jitterbug. You got Jitter? What the fuck's going on with there, right? So, all those weeks, and some people were thinking, man, what if that's Balor? What if that's Balor? And I can't remember who said it, but somebody had said, well, what if it was a female? I'm like, what if it was a female? It really didn't pick up any steam. It was like, it's gotta be Balor. It's gotta be Balor. Who else? It's gotta be Balor. And then we find out that fucking battery belongs to none other than Tegan Nox. Oh man, Tegan Nox is back, and she's got a receipt to cash in on Candice LeRae. Grr, beat her up, blah 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 blah. And Tegan Nox is gone. and she gets drafted to SmackDown, and it's just, well, thanks for coming, right? Yeah, it'd be one thing. I just got one bone to pick with the WWE. We should have done that little battery charger thing. We should have had that stretch out on all the shows. That way you can just be like, oh wow, what is going on? What's up with this little battery charge? You've seen this battery charge that's been on all the shows? Hey, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder where this superstar is pretty much going to land here. You know, which show are they going to, you know, make their debut on, or whatever, if it's a debut, or are they returning? So Tegan Nox to SmackDown. Look, her and Shotzi Blackheart, they're doing pretty good so far. I'll definitely give them that. I'll definitely give them that. They're doing pretty good so far. Nice solid tag match that they had against Natty and Tamina tonight. That actually was pretty good. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that was not for the SmackDown Women's Tag. No, actually, no, yeah. It was not for the SmackDown Women's Tag titles. Just a regular tag match. Shotzi, Nox, picking up the dub. Pretty good. Pretty good. Look, I can't shit on this. You know why I can't shit on this? Because I be that same motherfucker for months now that's been saying SmackDown, their women's division, there is a serious lack of, and they need all the help they can get. And remember, not for nothing, Tegan Nox, if I remember the chronological order correctly, Tegan Nox came up right before Bayley had suffered the injury. Now, see, it'd be one thing if Tegan Nox, she gets a call up, understandable. There had to be some shuffling going on, like Bayley got injured. Okay. But that wasn't the case at all. So I still appreciate the fact that WWE, though, okay, we're lacking in the women's division. We got to do something here. I don't mind the fact that Shotzi, Tegan got the call up, and then pretty soon we're going to have Toni Storm. Matter of fact, Toni Storm, we got the graphics for her and everything tonight. Toni Storm is actually going to be making her SmackDown debut next week, and that SmackDown that's going to be coming up next week is going to be lit. If I remember correctly, I'll have to rely on you guys, but I believe SmackDown is going to be live next week. And they're going to be, I'm trying to think, was it Cleveland? I believe they said SmackDown's going to be in Cleveland next week. I'm actually, if you bear with me a quick second here. Yeah, it's going to be a split location broadcast. That's the news that they had revealed earlier tonight. It's going to be a split location broadcast with multiple matches that's going to be taking place at the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami, Florida, while the rest of the event is going to be taking place at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. So, and Toni Storm is going to be debuting on that edition of SmackDown. So, I mean, it's going to be a pretty loaded up, jam-packed SmackDown next week. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see how they go about that whole split location thing and all that. That should be pretty cool. Very seldom have we seen WWE do some stuff like that. Matter of fact, if you really stop and think about it, I want to say the last time WWE on their Raw or SmackDown shows, the last time that they did split broadcast showing you different matches from two different cities / two different arenas, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe it was the Raw 25th anniversary show. And I remember how when it had stretched out that week, going into SmackDown, if I remember it right, they kind of did the same thing on SmackDown as well to a degree. So should be pretty good. But you know what? Shotzi, Tegan Nox, clicking pretty good so far as a tag team. I'm not quite convinced, though, that those are going to be the girls that's going to potentially strip Natty and Tamina of the tag titles. I'm not there just yet. I got to see a little bit more. But, hey, at least we're adding some more pieces in there. Toni Storm, look, I know a lot of people like Toni Storm. They're big fans of Toni Storm. You ask them why they're big fans of Toni Storm. First thing that comes out of their mouth, no bullshit. First thing that comes out of their mouth, well, look at her. Okay. You know, look at her. She's got hips. She's got ass. It's like, okay, well, besides that, why do you like Toni Storm? Other than the looks, you know, there's really, you know, you can't really get anything else out of people. So one of the things I'm going to be paying attention to when Toni Storm debuts, I'm definitely going to be paying attention to, first of all, what opponents are going to be fed to Toni Storm early on there, because not everybody is going to be able to jockey for that top spot for the women's championship. You feel me? So what are we exactly going to be doing with Toni? What's the tone that we're going to be setting here? Are we essentially going to have Toni Storm come in and pretty much replace heel Bayley, and ultimately she's going to chase after Bianca Belair for the title for a little bit, and then will become the new SmackDown Women's Champion, face Bianca Belair, chases after a heel Toni Storm? Is that maybe the route we're going to be going? I kind of feel as though, yes, that's potentially the route that we're going to be going. I know everybody's tripping over Sasha Banks. Everybody's like, Sasha Banks, Sasha Banks, Sasha Banks. Yeah, nah, I'm not seeing Sasha Banks come back, at least for a couple of more weeks. I don't see Sasha Banks coming back. Look, do I think Sasha Banks will be there as far as SummerSlam goes? Do I think she'll be there for that? I'm not sure. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not so sure about SummerSlam. I don't know why. Any other time I would be saying a unanimous yes, but I'm not quite sure about SmackDown. Now, if you maybe want to talk about the Raw or SmackDown after SummerSlam, I could maybe see something like that coming about. For sure, I could see something like that. But I hope that for the SmackDown side of things, it would be nice to see Sasha Banks come back. It would. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair rematch. I wouldn't mind seeing those girls lock up again. Sure, go for it. Would love to see essentially a heel Sasha Banks return. Wouldn't mind that whatsoever. Maybe somehow Sasha Banks and Toni Storm could intertwine there. Toni Storm's trying to chase after Bianca, but somehow when it's all said and done, Sasha Banks gets the title shot before Toni Storm. I could see some type of interesting scenario playing out like that. But yeah, that's how I'm kind of looking at it right now. You guys got to forgive me. I just heard somebody screaming, and it sounded like it was actually coming from outside. These headphones that I got on, combined with my mixer here, everything is amplified. So if my dog, for instance, were to bark, and she's maybe in the basement, I could actually hear her, right? That's how sensitive and amplified the hearing is in my headphones here. So yeah. What else had happened tonight on SmackDown? Just trying to think real quick of any other noteworthy things that had happened. I mean, there was pretty much only 5 matches of SmackDown tonight. That was it, just 5 matches. Other match, Chad Gable taking on Cesaro, pretty much a dud. It was pretty much a dud. Freaking Gable coming in from behind, attacking Cesaro. Referee had no choice but to throw the match out. Chad, Otis, ganging up there on Cesaro, laying his ass out. Very, very freaking short. This was just pretty much all more about setting up the angle there. That's what this was all about. Other than that, yeah, that pretty much was SmackDown in a nutshell, man. So, Balor returning, live fans back in attendance. Got to see a nice little cameo there from Vince McMahon. We got the nice, solid setup that's going to be going down with SmackDown for next week, as they're going to be doing the split location broadcast. Miami, Florida, and Cleveland, Ohio there. Pretty good. I got to tell you, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole just continue to amaze me on a weekly basis. To be here in 2021, and of all the commentating teams that's out there for the various promotions that I check out on a weekly basis. My absolute favorite, my number one favorite right now. I never thought in 2021 I'd be saying this, especially in regards to an announced team that involves Michael Cole. But I love the Michael Cole, Pat McAfee combination. Pat McAfee's energy is so infectious. You cannot help but latch on to it and raise your game up to his level. Yeah, you may not be as overly animated as Pat McAfee is, but if you're kind of like this when you're going into work, why me? Not another day. Why me? Oh, fuck me. You know, you're going in like that, and you're surrounded by the same kind of people that's like, yeah, why me? Why me? Oh, help me. You know, but then you get a Pat McAfee and just that whole energy, and you're just kind of, you know, it makes you feel good and everything. I love it. I love it. I gotta say, this is probably, and no bullshit, I've never really been a fan of Michael Cole's work. God's the honest truth. I've tolerated him, but I've never been a fan of Michael Cole's work. He doesn't suck or anything. I've just never been a fan. And I've seen them all. I've experienced the Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler. I've experienced the Jesse the Body Ventura, Vince McMahon, Randy Savage, Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman, Jim Ross, Joey Styles, fucking Mike Adamle, Jonathan Coachman, JBL. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Booker T, like, it goes on and on and on of commentators. I can even, look, no bullshit, to each its own. Josh Matthews, Matt Striker, I'm probably going to ruffle some people's feathers, but Matt Striker and Josh Matthews didn't mind their commentating whatsoever. Did not mind their commentating whatsoever. Totally fine with me. Totally fucking fine with me. So, amazing. I don't mean to be speechless, but no, it's like when I really personally stop and I think about it, in 2021, the fact that, and let me take this off for a little bit. In 2021, the fact that I'm excited about hearing the commentating of Michael Cole, that is wild. That's some wild shit. Seriously, that's some wild shit. But pretty good SmackDown this week. Looking forward to seeing how they do things for next week. All right, so that's SmackDown. We've been at this now for about, let me look here. Let me look at the recorder here. We've been at it now for about an hour, 12 minutes. Look, you know, we really don't have anything else to get into. We're going to now cover Slammiversary predictions. We'll also cover Money in the Bank predictions. And then I do want to close out the show talking about the latest stuff that's been going on with Naomi and Jimmy Uso, because I've yet to comment about that. So I will give you my 2 cents about that. And then pretty much that's going to be it. That's going to be a show. Now, do me a solid, especially if you guys have been enjoying the show so far. Means a lot. Doesn't cost you a thing. It's actually free. Hit that like button. When you hit that like button, that pushes out the content out there to the YouTube algorithm team. Lets them know that, oh, hey, some people actually had appreciated this. Helps them push it out there so that more people can check it out. And if you happen to be up to this point and you're going to be watching this on demand, the web stream, that is, definitely leave comments. I want to know from you guys, what did you think about the return of the live fans at this SmackDown event? Sound off. I definitely want to know. You can even let me know your picks as far as pay-per-view predictions and all that goes. And friendly reminder, I'm going to be saying this multiple times throughout the shows up until the event happens. But if you're going to be in the Washington, D.C. area, hey, show your man some love and definitely come hang out with me. I'm going to be hosting a panel at this year's AWESOMECON at the Washington Convention Center on Friday, August 20th. I'm going to have some special guests, and we are going to have loads fun. I will be co-hosting and moderating this special panel. We're going to be talking about just the crazy world that was going on with the pandemic and how it affected all things pro wrestling, also in general the entertainment business, and the resurgence that we currently have underway right now. It's going to be pretty fucking solid. There's going to be some nice little goodies that we're going to be giving away as well. So definitely check it out when you guys get a chance. AWESOMECON, Friday, August 20th. More information, just go check out the AWESOMECON website. Let's get into some Slammiversary picks, man. So we got Slammiversary. It's going to be going down this weekend. Look, I'm very well aware of the interview that Scott D'Amore, the new, well, not new, but yeah, you could say relatively new, VP and all that of Impact. I'm aware of the interview that he put out there recently about fans' concerns. Pretty much what I have been saying vocally, week in, week out, month in, month out, which is AEW is the hot blonde chick with big boobs that doesn't give a fuck about anybody but themselves. Comes around Impact Wrestling, which is the shy little boy that has acne like a mofo. No girl would give them, the time or day. And AEW says to Impact, hey, I'll let you hold my hand if you give me your lunch. And Impact, yeah, here you go. Can I hold your hand now? Maybe later. AEW comes back around again. Hey, I need some money. How much money you got? Oh, I got a couple of dollars. Okay, I'll take that. Really? But how am I supposed to get home? You can walk for all I care. Look, if you want to date me, you're going to give me that money. Oh, okay. So when are we going to go out on that date? When hell freezes over? I mean, it's basically like that. When it's time for Impact to get that reaction, to get their just due, it's been very one-sided. I have said this repeatedly. Interesting how Scott D'Amore did this recent interview, and you all have been probably seeing it all week long as Impact stars are making their rounds, doing interviews, trying to promote this event and everything. And he gave an interview to the folks over there at PW Insider, and that topic was brought up. Here's what he had to say on the criticism that Impact isn't getting as much as AEW out of their relationship. And I quote, home in on this now. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I look at things and I see, and there's people that are saying, well, Impact doesn't get enough from this. I see other people saying Impact isn't getting everything out of this. We're not locked and intertwined together between the two companies. Well, first off, nobody said you were. So nobody said you needed to be either. Let me continue. Which, like I said, it doesn't necessarily always have to be. From our point of view, we've had Kenny Omega come and make many appearances on Impact Wrestling. Alright, let's pause on that one. Yeah, you know what? Not for nothing, but when you had the one episode where on AEW Dynamite, Kenny Omega, Don Callis, they pretty much got in that limo and they pretty much were like, Tuesday, Access TV. Yeah, you know what? That very first Impact on Access with Omega, Callis, great numbers right there. But after a while, it just went on this decline. It's so weird. It really, really is. But when you go back and you look at the fucking viewership before Omega, and then during Omega. Some could make the argument, well, not for nothing, the numbers were actually better before Omega. Just marinate on that. Let's keep going. Which, like I said, it doesn't necessarily always have to be. From our point of view, we've had Kenny Omega and make many appearances on Impact Wrestling. The Good Brothers have went there and made appearances on AEW. Yeah, like, no shade or disrespect to the Good Brothers, but Impact fans that have been very faithful to the Impact product through and through, they want more than just the Good Brothers over on AEW. Where's the Rich Swans? Where's the Sami Callahans? Riddle me this for a second. We're definitely still going to talk about the Slammiversary card, but riddle me this for a second, since we're talking Impact right now. Riddle me this for a second. You've got your final Impact Wrestling. You've got your final AEW Dynamite going into this Slammiversary pay-per-view. We got Kenny Omega out there calling himself the goddamn belt collector. Okay, Galactus, whatever, man. And when it counts the most, we don't have Sami Callihan coming out there, baseball bat in hand, and prelude to Slammiversary. We're not doing that. Fuck, we can't even do a damn ad spot for Impact Slammiversary on TNT. Just marinate on that. We've had Matt Hardy pop up, which was a great moment to have that feeling process when there's so much bitterness and everything in between Matt Hardy and Impact Wrestling, stuff like that. I think there's been certainly some upswing in business associated with it. I think there's always going to be wrestling fans who are going to point out a little dip or any little downside. But the fact is, we're just coming off with the Rebellion, our most successful pay-per-view. I won't say in history, but it certainly the last decade. Hugely successful from a financial standpoint. Hugely successful from an optics as far as for quality of the show. And as far as the coverage and the reach, we have a digital department that is growing exponentially almost day after day. We continue to expand where we deliver our show around the world. Is there things? Certainly. Can you sit there and say, hey, I'd rather make it go this way or this way? Sure. But you have two completely independent companies that are coming together. If we could agree on something, great, we do it. If we can't agree on something, but one side wants it and the other side doesn't, I mean, it's not happening, and that's okay. Now, see, I would have probed right there. And I would have asked the question, okay, you say that because that's pretty much a nice little window there that you opened. You're giving me an opportunity to walk through that. Okay, so capitalizing on that, Scott, has there been instances where you and other heads at Impact, there's something that you've wanted to happen where you wanted an assist from AEW, and maybe as far as letting Swan or this guy maybe go over on Impact, maybe do a special exhibition match, or maybe go over on the YouTube shows and do a little something, but you met resistance, it didn't gel well. I definitely would have walked in there, asked that type of a follow-up question, definitely would have brought up the whole shit there with Sammy Guevara, for sure. That's kind of now why these days I don't really do as many interviews with wrestlers, of a particular promotion, because, the type of questions that I want to ask, I already know I would piss some people off, sadly, and, it would be one of those type of deals where it's like, especially with a promotion like Impact Wrestling, oh my God. I remember some years back, Impact Wrestling, they had this one guy that was responsible for all media talent things for Impact Wrestling. This isn't a long drawn out story either, so hang with me. I'm making a very valid point. And I remember there were a few Impact wrestlers that I had privately got in contact with, and I said, hey, would love it if we could have you come on the show, talk about blah blah blah. Hey, you got this pay-per-view that's coming up. And some of these cats, they had heard of my show. Some of them even watched it, and they were like, yeah, sure, actually a fan of your work. Yeah, you got no problem doing it, but you got to go through the channels. I'm like, what channel? Contact this person. And like, oh, okay, cool. Hey, Lee Sanders here, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I was chatting with blah, blah, blah. They said they'd love to come by and do the show. You can cross-reference with them if you want. What do you say? Can we make this happen? Red fucking tape. Red fucking tape. At least with Impact, you get a reply, whereas with WWE, they just leave your ass hanging because WWE, they got their handful of favorites. Oh, man, but the guy that they had working at Impact, it was just, they were very gung-ho about their image. So when I am able to get wrestlers that come onto the show and they can pretty much just talk all out, they can pretty much just put their balls out there on the table, no repercussions whatsoever. That's usually because they're not tied to a company or whatever, right? And that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the beast. If you are in a position where you get to talk to said wrestler of a promotion and it's the week of a pay-per-view, you're not really going to be able to dig in the way you want to be able. It's not a gotcha, a Geraldo moment or anything like that, but really have a truly insightful, pretty laid back conversation, but very valid points. You're not going to be able to get that, because that in turn, in the promotion's eyes, hurts their bottom dollar, hurts them from a publicity standpoint. And they don't want any of that shit. So you will get fluff answers, just like what I pretty much had said to you. There's a lot more, but you get the gist of it. You get the gist of what he's spinning out there. You can spin it however you want to spin it. But for the past, 7-8 months, this AEW Impact Wrestling relationship has been so goddamn one-sided. It is like a relationship where you just give and give and give and give and give to your partner. But when it comes time for you to get your just due, not even when it counts the most emotionally, you're not even getting it. Yeah, sooner or later, you're going to go, okay, you know what? This relationship fucking sucks. I'm going above and beyond, but this motherfucker ain't even meeting me at least halfway. What the flying fuck? Marinate on that. So for me personally, as far as I'm concerned, I know I'm putting a major spoiler out there right now. I'm hoping we get a new fucking champion for that main event match. I'm hoping we get a new champ. Here's your card for Slammiversary. Let's go. So, first up, Matt Cardona and a mystery tag partner teaming up to take on Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood. This could go a couple of different ways, man. It really could. On the one hand, hearing the rumblings there that Ruby Riott may be on her way back to Impact Wrestling. Remember, a couple of years prior, she was wrestling under Heidi Lovelace and all that. She was doing some stuff with Impact Wrestling for a hot minute, and it was decent. It was all right. So I know that's one of the names that's floating around, and you think about how long it's been since her release and everything. I can see Ruby Riott. I think that would be a great fucking pickup if they were able to get her. I think that would be pretty fucking badass. You talk about somebody that, man, you're talking about somebody that could definitely shine in that Knockouts division. Just the great matchups you could have too. I ultimately would love to see her chase after Deonna Purrazzo for that Knockouts Championship. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. But man, just all the great matchups that would be waiting for her. Fuck, Ruby Riott taking on Havoc. Ruby Riott and Su Yung. Oh, fuck. Hands down. That would just be fucking badass. Ruby Riott taking on Jordan Grace. You guys been peeping now? Jordan Grace? I mean, she is getting more smaller, leaner. I mean, she is really losing that baby fat. She's very serious. You know, I don't know where she is as far as after she's given birth and everything. I don't know if she's gotten the itch now to wrestle again, or if she's just gonna quietly enjoy the civilian life. I think the last thing I heard was she's making the transition just into a full-time civilian life, but not for nothing. You know, you got to think this way sometimes. Your expectations, especially in the Impact Wrestling realm, your expectations are high, and then you get that. So, if the bar is Ruby Riott, if that's the high point, then what's the low point and what's the middle point is my question to you guys. I think the middle point would be, okay, we don't have Ruby Riott, but we got Kylie Rae. And the only reason why I'm bringing up Kylie Rae is because it turns out NWA and Impact Wrestling, they've got this relationship that's apparently going on. You got reports that's floating out there. I mean, take it for what it's worth. Take it with a grain of salt or whatever. But some information that came in about why we're now seeing NWA's Kylie Rae. And you're like, wait a minute, you know, wasn't she with Impact? And you know what's going on? Shout out to the good kind of people over at VEICHLE. But they're reporting that Impact Wrestling allowed Kylie Rae to wrestle for NWA, even though she was technically still under contract to Impact. Pat Kenny, formerly Simon Diamond, was said to be instrumental in making that deal possible. So, and apparently he has a great relationship with Scott D'Amore. So, just taking that, and then just the idea that there's a possibility that the two companies could be doing something in the near future. Could we say maybe as early as Empower Weekend, NWA 73? I mean, it's very well possible that we could be seeing some knockouts come on over there to that Empower event. It's very well possible. Remember, right before the pandemic and everything had hit, one thing that was very appealing to the eye for Impact Wrestling, Ed Nordholm and everybody involved, one thing that was very, very interesting to them, they wanted badly to have a ongoing working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling and with WOW Women of Wrestling. And as you guys recall, WOW Women of Wrestling, that was a promotion that I covered faithfully. It's so funny because almost every couple of weeks I will get either an email, a DM, or I'll sometimes see a YouTube comment that's pending, and it'll be, you know, what's going on with WOW? You know, why haven't we heard anything about the WOW promotion? And I wanna give some type of new information that's out there, but I'm kind of like Mish. It's like, missed the promotion, but kind of seems like they are just down and out. Whatever they might have been getting ready to do once the pandemic hit, I mean, and you see what's going on. I hope they come back. I thought they were pretty solid. But back to the topic at hand, when Impact Wrestling had acquired Access TV, Ed Nordholm, when he went in with his Anthem Entertainment Company, and they were able to buy up Mark Cuban's majority control of that network, they went in there and they pretty much said to New Japan Pro Wrestling, hey, we want to have an ongoing working relationship with you where we exchange talents and we have some of our guys work your shows, your guys work on our shows. And New Japan said, nah, you know what? We're cool. Just doing what we're doing right now. We're happy with this TV deal we got because we love the fact that we're able to show this to the American audience that, you know, are getting to know about us for the first time. They had 2 years left on their contract. They didn't want to play ball with Ed Nordholm and Anthem Entertainment. They got the boot. Then when it came to WOW, Women of Wrestling, they pretty much had met the same fate. Because what Impact Wrestling wanted to do, they wanted to share their talents. They wanted to have an ongoing, you know, and I kind of understand where Impact is coming from because they saw what was going on there with Tessa Blanchard and Kiera Hogan, two girls that Impact essentially, you know, kind of loaned out to WOW, saw how successful that was and was like, okay, let's see if we could do something with this promotion on the regular, and for whatever respected reason, like David McLean and them, they were like, yeah, nah, we're good just doing our thing as we're doing it right now. Anthem Entertainment said, okay, all right, you wanna, okay, bye. So, you know, if you were to ask me straight up, I think the first strike is going to be with that Empower event. I would be paying very close attention to that NWA Empower event that's going to be happening the same weekend as NWA 73. I will suspect there's definitely going to be a couple of those knockouts showing up on there and everything. So keeping all of that in mind. Now, this could go either way. It could be Ruby Riott / Heidi Lovelace. I don't know what's going on with Sarah Logan, but, you know, that's another name that you kind of have to have on your radar there. Could we maybe get Thunder Rosa? Is that even possible? I mean, this could go, really. You got to take that supposed working relationship that NWA is trying to have with Impact. You got to take that for what it's worth. So it could go either way. But they're going to be taking on the team of Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood. I'm going to go with the team of Cardona and whoever that mystery opponent is. That's what I'm going to go with. If you ask me, what am I really, really leaning towards more? When was her contract over? Her contract was over June 2nd. I don't know. She was released June 2nd. I'm very curious what clause is in her contract. Was it a 30-day? Was it a 60-day? Was it a 90-day? That's something that I never did see that was floating around online. But I'm going to jump out there, and I wouldn't be surprised if under the circumstances, maybe there was a little bit of flexibility there for Ruby. I'm going to go with Ruby. I'm going to say Ruby. I'd be really shocked if it wasn't Ruby that was in that spot. So, but that's the team I'm going to go with. I'm going to say Cardona and that mystery opponent. Eddie Edwards taking on W. Morrissey singles match. Oh, that should be a damn good one. That should be a damn good one. W. Morrissey, by the way, big Cass XL. Shit. I got to go with Morrissey. Hands down, Morrissey. Look, Eddie, if you're going to make a name for yourself, when you think of Impact Wrestling, you have been for these past couple of years, as far as the heart, the soul, the heartbeat of Impact, Eddie Edwards, definitely that man. If anybody can help put W. Morrissey on that next level, have even more eyeballs watching, really come out with a banger hit of a match, a guy like Eddie Edwards can definitely give Morrissey that. So I'm going to go with Morrissey for this one. Fire and Flavor. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz taking on Havoc Rosemary tag team match for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Havoc, Rosemary, Fire and Flavor. Tough call, yo. Tough call. I'm going to go with Havoc and Rosemary. Any other time I would go with Fire and Flavor, but I'm going to go with Havoc and Rosemary for this one. Violent by Designs, Eric Young, Diener, Joe Doring, or Rhino will be taking on the team of Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Fala Bala, and a to-be-announced companion there, taking on the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson. Fatal 4-way tag team match for the Impact World Tag titles. So it's going to be Violent by Design taking on Rich Swann and Willie Mack, Fala Bala, and his mystery tag partner against the Good Brothers. Okay. Wonder who Fala Bala's mystery partner is. That's the $1 million question. Wonder who his partner is. I'm gonna go with the team of Rich Swann and Willie Mack. I'm gonna go with that team. Very weird what's been going on with Willie Mack, man. I kind of want to see him get rewarded for being essentially the pandemic champion. And I mean, he at a time when Impact Wrestling really needed it, he fucking was banging out some solid ass matches. I definitely was entertained. I definitely was entertained by him. I'm going to go with Rich Swann and Willie Mack for your new tag team champions. Deonna Purrazzo taking on a mystery opponent. Impact Knockouts Championship. Now, hold on a second. So, do you maybe slide in Ruby Riott right there? I mean, that makes more sense, would it not? Maybe you slide in Ruby Riott right there, but then it becomes, okay, well, then who is Matt Cardona's opponent? Or tag partner. Who's his tag partner? Oh, man. Yeah, I like the idea of... Oh, shit. Yeah, Chelsea Green is free as well. I almost forgot about that. And she was pretty damn good as the bride. What was it? I can't think of her name right now, but she was the bride. Last we saw her in Impact. I remember it didn't quite grow on me at first. I wasn't really behind it, but towards the end of her run there in Impact as the bride, I was really starting to get behind it. She was starting to do this weird female Joker thing. It was interesting. It was interesting, the transformation that she had took the character through. Laurel Van Ness, that's the character I was thinking of. Laurel Van Ness. Yeah. Oh shit. Billy Kay, Peyton Royce. They're free as well. So this could go a couple of different routes, y'all. Let's go back and look at this again here. So I'm going to say for Deonna Purrazzo and that Knockouts Championship, if not Chelsea Green / Laurel Van Ness, then Ruby Riott. And then Matt Cardona and his mystery tag partner, his mystery female tag partner, then you either got to go with Peyton Royce, Billy Kay. I'm trying to think what other female, or potentially Sarah Logan, but I don't think you need to have her on the list, because I could have sworn I remember reading something about she's making the full transition to just having a regular civilian life. So I'm just trying to think, like, am I missing any other females that were released by the WWE that would be like noteworthy of, hey, this person could definitely show up. If there's a name I'm missing, you let me know, guys, but I'm not thinking of any other names right now. So yeah, I'll tell you what, just pay attention to the communities tab on YouTube and the Twitter, Facebook pages, And if I'm gonna actually, after the show is done, I'll actually look at all the people that were released so far this year. And if there's some other names that, ooh, what about this one? I will definitely put it on the list and I'll share it with you guys on social media. But yeah, that's how I'm eyeing it right now. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Now, I don't see whoever that person is that's going to be challenging Deanna for the Impact Knockouts Championship. I just don't see them on their Impact debut or return to Impact dethroning Deanna Purrazzo. Come on, man. The virtuoso, man. No, that girl been tearing it up. No way. I'd be shocked. I really would be shocked. And I know usually when it comes to these big Impact Wrestling pay-per-view events, they like to usually do a sweep or a majority of the titles changes hands. And I mean, so far, let's look at this. So far, I've only done new champions once. Let's see. Or have I done? Nope. I've done it twice because I even said that Violent by Design, who are the current Impact World Champions, I pretty much said they're going to lose those to Rich Swann and Willie Mack. So far, I've got 2 title changes, right? So Deanna Purrazzo taking on whoever. Yeah, I'm going to say Deanna retains. Chris Sabin versus Moose. Should be a good match, but come on, man. Come on. You know the direction I'm going to be going. Moose all day, every day. Ultimate X match for the Impact X Division Championship. Josh Alexander defending the title against Petey Williams, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Rohit Raju. I'm going to call for it again, man. I've been really enjoying the work of Trey Miguel. And I remember months back when I thought for sure, okay, yeah, this guy is definitely going to be the fucking X Division champion. Because everybody else, the Ace Austins, the Rohit Rajus, like everybody had a fucking pass. Everybody had a puff except for Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel, like the only guy that did not have a puff at that X Division championship. So you know what? I'm seeing him on this card. Hands down, I'm going with Trey Miguel yet again. If you don't pull the trigger here for Trey Miguel as a champion here, then when do you do it? Nah, I really have likened what's been going on with him these past several months, man. He has really proven to me that he is deserving of being a singles breakout star. He's been living up to it and everything. Yeah, fucking go there. Let's see how he does as an X Division champion. I think if there was ever a guy like somewhere down the road you need to look at and say, hey, option C or whatever, cash in the championship for a shot at the Impact World Championship, Trey Miguel is that guy. So I'm going with Trey Miguel. Kenny Omega taking on Sami Callihan. No disqualification match for the Impact World Championship. Remember what I was talking about before? About my man Ken Shamrock? I can see Sami Callihan having some type of backup. You know the Good Brothers are going to come out. I don't know about the Young Bucks. I don't know if the Young Bucks will come out. But you know Sami Callihan is going to fucking have some serious help. You know he's going to have some damn backup. There's just no way. I could see it being a case where Sami Callihan has Ken Shamrock, and when it counts the most, I could actually see other guys on the Impact roster that tries to help out, make sure that, nah, man, we're bringing that fucking title back home to us where it fucking belongs. So, yeah, I got Sami Callihan definitely getting this championship. And the timing is just right, because I don't know when was the last time you guys had went on Impact Wrestling's website and everything, try to look up ticket information and all that, but Impact Wrestling, they're getting back into the swing of things as far as fans being back in attendance and all that. They're gearing back up to go back on tour, for instance. So you got Slammiversary, of course, that's going to be on July 17th, but in Nashville, Tennessee, on the 18th and 19th of July, there's going to be Impact Wrestling TV tapings there. And then August 15th, 16th, 17th in Nashville, yet again, there's going to be tapings. And then there is going to be there's also going to be nope, that's it for now. That's it for now. As far as ticket events, that's it for now. But I'm sure as more weeks progress, we're going to hear more and more and more. So these dates that I just mentioned to you guys are definitely going to be using these times to tape as much as they can for the next, probably for like the next 2, maybe almost 3 months. I mean, that's cool, but yeah, I mean, they just made the announcement that they're going to be having fans come to these shows. So it's pretty much getting back to business as usual for Impact. So I'd be shocked if Kenny Omega left Slammiversary still Impact champion. All right, so one more time, looking at the card from top to bottom here, I got Cardona and his mystery opponent winning this mixed tag match against Brian Myers, Tenille Dashwood. Morrissey picks up a dub over Edwards. Havoc and Rosemary become your new knockout tag team champions. Rich Swann, Willie Mack become your new Impact World Tag Champions. Deonna Purrazzo retains her Impact Knockouts Championship over mystery opponent. Moose over Sabin. Trey Miguel, your new X Division champion. Sami Callihan as your new Impact World Champion. Should be pretty good. And Slammiversary is going to be happening this weekend on later tonight, Saturday night, July 17th. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, Lee, are you going to be doing a post show after Slammiversary? Let me see. Good question. Let me look at my schedule here, because I actually have to work later today. So actually, let me look at my schedule here, and I can tell you guys. Yeah, I should be able to check out Slammiversary and then do the post show. So yeah, I will be live after Slammiversary is over. So yes, and we will talk all about the pay-per-view fallout. All right, let's go with. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll close out the show talking Money in the Bank, but let me just spend just a couple of minutes, 5 minutes at most, might even be way less than that. I didn't get a chance to comment on this, and some of the things that I did say within passing in forums and on social media, definitely in the Discord, might have been misconstrued a little bit, might have been taken out of context. So I kind of definitely want to elaborate here more about it. So I see the stuff that's been going on with Naomi. I know you guys have seen it as well. Naomi was under great scrutiny for what was going on with Jimmy Uso. A lot of people are, essentially throwing her under the bus and saying to her pretty much, how could you let Jimmy be running around continuing to make these boneheaded mistakes? What the fuck is wrong with you? And pretty much as a result, she went on ahead and deactivated her account. A lot of people are saying, oh, she deleted her account. No, anybody that knows a thing or two about social media, and it's a case of, you know what, I need a break. I need a break. I just want to be done with social media for a little bit. There's an option where you can just go in and say, I want to deactivate my account. And, at any time you can, within the time frame allowed, at any time you can easily just go back. I mean, it's as simple as flipping the switch. Now, sure, when you try to pull up her account, it says, hey, the account doesn't exist. Try another and everything. But look, man, I can understand some folks. And this is real talk right here. I can understand some folks that meant well. It's one thing if you have concern and it's to the point where you're just wondering, hey, do you really have this person's best intentions at heart? Because man, you would think if there was just one person that's the voice of reason, surely you would, right? I can understand some people that may be in a constructive yet respectful way. Is there really a respectful way to go about kind of on social media with regards to this topic? I don't really know. That's up for debate. But to those that were just wagging the finger and were just verbally bashing her, first of all, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. You got your own goddamn problems that's going on. So take care of yourself before you go worrying about what this person is doing. And I had to learn a long time ago, and in the process it cost me friendship, more than one friendship actually. But a long time ago, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I got my own problems. I got my own life that I got to live. And, I used to have friends that would just tell me, for instance, I'll be real. I used to have one of my best friends from high school. Went on, got married, used to tell me all types of personal problems that she was having in her marriage. I would give her my honest advice, because it seemed as though what she was doing was really trying to confide in a friend. It seemed as though she was really trying to, get some type of an idea on what the fuck do I do here. And I would speak to her candidly. There would be no filter with me, and I would tell her exactly what she should do. And some of the stuff that she would tell me was very heartbreaking to hear. I downright was hearing somebody that was trying to figure out, at least to me, the interpretation, at least the way it came off to me was, I'm giving, and I'm getting so little back. I just don't know if this relationship is worth it, if this marriage is worth it. Kind of echoing what I was talking about earlier. And man, those heart-to-heart conversations, man, I took it literally to the heart because, one, I felt such honor that she would confide in me in something so intimate. And I remember there'd be times where I would say, well, have you talked to him? Have you expressed how you felt? And it's like, until you really are able to go there, like, yeah, this is going to be a rinse repeat type of deal. And I'll never forget, one day there was just a phone conversation that happened between me and her husband. I had been noticing some type of friction, like a little bit of ice coldness that was going on. And I remember one day something had happened, just got on the phone and somehow, I don't know if I brought it up. I think I did. I'm not sure. And then all of a sudden, he just went in on me verbally. He went in on me, told me he didn't appreciate how I was telling his wife, she should leave him and blah this and all that. And I told him, I said, hey, dude, I know I've known you for X amount of years, but I've known her longer. I love her like a sister. And he says to me sharply, and she's my wife. And I said, look, I don't mean no harm. Like, she's the one that's telling me all of this stuff because she feels like she doesn't have anybody to talk to. She feels blah, 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 blah. Boys and girls, I can't tell you how, like, that conversation, that pretty much was the end of the friendship as far as I was concerned. That was like, because after I got off the phone with them, I just remember saying, you know what, fuck this. I got my own problems. I got my own life I gotta live. I'm no Dr. Phil. I don't have the answers to everything way I try to go about it in life is using fucking common sense, and when in doubt, maybe don't do it or get a second opinion. That's usually how I fucking operate. I remember so many years had went by. I tried to patch things up with them, once I felt that within, yeah, I did a full 180. I'm a totally different person. I'm at a point in my life where I'm happy, and there's so many good things that's going on, and it didn't feel the same. That relationship prior to that whole thing that went down, it just didn't feel the same. And now I can look myself in the mirror and go, you know what? I tried. I can now look at myself in the mirror and say, I tried. And when I did try, I did do a 180. I worked on myself. And now I'm in a position where, okay, you need help. Okay, I'm not going to hold your hand in this thing called life, but I will give you the tools, same tools that I used to succeed. And, you try what you try. Your results may vary, but if you're using these same tools and you following these tips, you should be solid. But it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. So everybody that's throwing all these stones and talking a big fucking game at Naomi, a lot of these people, as I like to call them, they're nothing more than big bad keyboard fucking warriors. That's what they are. That's what they are. Motherfuckers that'll never show their fucking face. Motherfuckers that would never say what they said to Naomi in person, because they know they'll fucking get their ass beat. Straight up. Now, on the flip side to that, they always say that behind or beside every man is a great woman. Now, and this was the point that I had made, because I've been there, I've done that. We've all made boneheaded mistakes. I've definitely made my own respected mistakes in the past. And let me tell you something. A good woman, especially when she's almost had it up to here and she's trying to make sure that, hey, you understand the consequences of this. You do this. This is how it's going to affect us. This is how it's going to affect this relationship. This is, you sure you want to go down this? Okay, you already know. I'm an adult. You're an adult. This is where you're going to go. This is what it's going to cost you. And I can remember being so stubborn in previous, completely different person. Tams will tell you, when we first started dating, way before we got married, completely different person compared to where I'm at right now and where I have been, particularly these past 5 years, just working on myself as an individual. Sometimes it takes certain instances where you get fucking humbled and, unfortunately, you gotta hit fucking rock bottom. And at this point, I don't know where Jimmy Uso's rock bottom is. I'm sure that Naomi, to some extent, I would like to believe she's tried to be very verbal. I would like to believe the family, colleagues, even WWE, I would like to believe they all have, to some extent, talked to this guy, and right? But it seems that everything continues to fall on deaf ears. I don't know where Jimmy Uso's rock bottom is. I don't know where his moment of clarity is going to come from, but I hope that it comes soon, and I hope that it doesn't come at the hands of a life being lost. But to see how people were reacting to the whole, Naomi, coming at Naomi the way they were coming after her, totally disgusting how people kept attacking her. Don't blame her whatsoever for deactivating her account. This just goes into the alignment of what I've been talking about on this show for a couple of years now, which is all about the social toxicity that exists in our society. That is why I treat social media the way that I treat social media. I fucking will just utilize it really to just spread whatever message I'm trying to spread. Okay, what are you trying to spread? word about the podcast. Okay. Or I'm watching a certain show as other people are watching a certain show. I want to put a hashtag out there. Cool. All right. Do that. Hey, getting ready to go live, hashtag, don't get me wrong. There's actually a few people that I've known through the show for years. I'm either chatting it up with them in DMs, emails, some even texts, or I'm just the social media. I'm just out in the open and I'm just doing it like that. But that's a very very small intimate circle that I'm fucking with, like on a regular, right? But even I've taken a step back on the whole social media thing, because I see Mauro Ranallo is right when he talks about the toxicity of it. He's fucking right. And sometimes you just got to take a step back and say, you know what, for my own mental health and for my own stability, yeah, man, I gotta pump the brakes. I don't want no part in this shit. So hopefully she's in a better headspace. And look, not for nothing, but sometimes deactivating social media, getting away from it, it's actually a good thing. It's actually a fucking good thing. It can do you a good world of wonders. That's why every single time I get ready to go on vacation or some shit like that, I always try to do my best to lay off the social media. I always do. Always. Even on my days off, I usually will dedicate 1 day or 2 days out of the week where I am not doing anything with social media. I'm totally decompressing and giving myself an opportunity to just, catch up with myself, read a good book or whatever, catch up with friends, family, all that good shit. Food for thought. All right, so let's close out the show strong. We're going to talk about Money in the Bank. So they're going to be going down Sunday, July 18th. Let's do a rundown of this card, and then we'll pretty much stick a fork in it. This show will be D.O.N.E. done. Let's see what's going on with this Money in the Bank card. I actually got to pull the card up here, so bear with me a second here. And I am now looking at it. All right, let's load this up. Boom. All right, first matchup, AJ Styles and Omos taking on the Viking Raiders. Tag match for the Raw Tag Team titles. AJ Omos, hands down. AJ Omos, hands down. At this point, I don't even think they've had the tag titles 90 days. Now that I'm thinking about it. So, yeah, let me look at their current title reign. Give me a second here. I'm actually looking at their title reign right now. No. I want to see the current champions. Give me the current champions. There we go. Raw Tag Team Champions. They've had it since April. They've had it since April 10th. So they've literally just hit 3 months and a day or two, basically. Or a couple of days. I'm just not sold just yet on the Viking Raiders. I'm not there just yet. I'm going to say AJ Styles and Omos for the retain. Let's see. What's the next match here? Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Edge. Oh, that should be the fucking match of the night. Love Edge. I've loved everything that's been going on with these guys. Really, I have. Would I be upset in any way if Edge were to dethrone Roman Reigns? No. I would not be upset in any way. I wouldn't. I would be legit happy. At my hardcorest heart, I am a big Edge head. So if he were to walk out of Money in the Bank as Universal Champion, I would have no problem with it whatsoever. But on this night, not seeing that happen for Edge. I've got Roman Reigns going over. Roman Reigns for sure. I see him going over. Question that we need to be asking ourselves is, will Edge play any part in this? Also, whoever wins Money in the Bank, are they going to make their presence felt in this match? It's the other thing you got to think about very, very strongly. Rhea Ripley defending the Raw Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. I am just not seeing a title change right here. I'm not. If I were to put an asterisk by any match where, you know what, there could be a swerve. Looking at this entire card, this is one of maybe two matches I would put an asterisk by and say, okay, some shit could go down right here. But yeah, Rhea Ripley, I'm seeing still as the Raw Women's Champion. Bobby Lashley defending the WWE Championship against Kofi Kingston. Come on, man. I don't roll with Lashley this far. I ain't switching up now. I know a lot of you guys want to see the return of Kofi Mania and all that. Love you guys tremendously. Nah, your brother ain't there on that one. I'm still on the Lashley Hurt Business train. Yeah, nah. Lashley for the retain. Asuka versus Naomi versus Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Ash versus Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega versus Natalya versus Tamina. Money in the Bank ladder match for a women's championship match contract. So who's going to be Mrs. Money in the Bank? I am homing in on... Boy, that would be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. I'm homing in on Alexa Bliss. And I'm homing in on... I'm not quite sold on her yet. I want to say Liv Morgan. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Ash. Those are the two names that's really screaming out to me right now. Nikki Ash and Alexa Bliss. You know, if you really mean well and you're really trying to get this Nikki Ash character over, that'd be pretty badass to have them be Mrs. Money in the Bank. Yeah, that would be pretty badass. It's between those two girls, though. It's really, if you were to force me to pick one, out of those two, I gotta think about this now. Because whoever is Mrs. Money in the Bank, they could go after the Raw Women's Champion, or they could go after the Smackdown Women's Champion. Okay, keeping that in mind, yeah, it makes more sense to have a heel pretty much bounce around there. Be interesting confrontations, interesting dialogue to see Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, got that little tease going on. Then you go on over to Raw, you got the tease there with Rhea Ripley. And then, of course, because it was so great last time, if you wanted to do that tease, go over to NXT, and you want to tease Raquel Gonzalez, you could do that as well. You can only get so far with Nikki Ash. And you got Liv Morgan. Yeah, that would be kind of lukewarm, kind of cold reactions there for Liv Morgan. Yeah, yeah, not quite. I'm gonna go with Alexa Bliss, and that's final. Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is the one that's gonna win Money in the Bank. That's cool. That's the direction I would go. Ricochet taking on John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, King Nakamura, Seth Rollins, Money in the Bank ladder match for a World Championship match contract. Oh, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. I remember looking at this some weeks back, and I told you guys I'm homing in on two names. One name, and I'm still homing in on those two names. The first name I'm homing in on is Big E. The second name I'm homing in on, I'll tell you this right now. I'm not seeing Seth Rollins. I'm not seeing that right now. I see a pissed off Seth Rollins, a belligerent Seth Rollins, fuming at the fact that he did not win Money in the Bank. I can't help but wonder, okay, you're that pissed off. You going to take it out on Edge? In some form, are you going to make your presence felt in that match between Roman Reigns and Edge for the Universal Championship? See where I'm going with that? So, yeah, you got to take Seth Rollins out of the equation. King Nakamura, nobody would see that coming. That would be a great mark out moment for a lot of fans. For a lot of fans, that would be a great mark out moment. I could even see them teasing maybe once or twice Nakamura and the fans reacting feverishly. I could even see that. Be a hell of a way to come full circle there for Nakamura on the main roster shows. Not seeing Nakamura. Kevin Owens. Surprisingly, nah. Not right now. Nah. Alright, so that takes care of that side. Alright, let's come on over to the other side here. Ricochet, nah. John Morrison. Any other time, Ricochet Morrison, I would, based off of what I've seen these past couple of weeks. But I'm not quite there. Not quite there with those guys. So I'm homing in on three names now. I'm homing in on Riddle, I'm homing in on Drew McIntyre, and I'm homing in on Big E. Riddle is an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Drew would be pretty damn good. I could picture Drew McIntyre going on all the shows. That would be pretty damn good. But Big E could get the same damn thing, get the same kind of reactions and all going across all the shows as well. And the other thing that screams big time about this match, by the way, is the amount of fucking people that could interfere in this. Because you look at Drew McIntyre, he's got the whole feud thing going on there with Jinder Mahal. He just destroyed Jinder Mahal's bike. So could Jinder pop up in this? You gotta have that in the back of your mind. Kevin Owens, he stunned the shit out of Baron Corbin tonight. Could Baron Corbin come out and want him some fucking Kevin Owens, right? So you gotta think about that. Ricochet, Morrison, they've had these great series of matches the past couple of weeks. They are gonna just be crazy spots. They're gonna be focused on, Randy Orton, could Randy have so much venom that maybe he finally strikes Riddle? See, there's a whole lot of fuckery that could go on here. So I'm gonna say Big E. Big E. I've been wanting it like for months. I've gone this far. I'm going with Big E to be your Mr. Money in the Bank winner. And then Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio taking on the Usos for the Smackdown tag titles. Oh, correction. Dominic and Rey Mysterio defending the SmackDown tag titles against the Usos. No particular reason. I'm gonna go with the Mysterios. But if you were to tell me the Usos were to win, if you were to tell me, hey, got it on good authority, Usos are slated to win, not surprised whatsoever. Not surprised whatsoever. All right, so that's how I'm looking at Money in the Bank. One more time, take it from the bottom to the top. AJ Styles, Omos retaining the Raw tag titles. Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship. Rhea Ripley retains the Raw Women's Championship. Lashley retains his WWE Championship. That's a lot of retains so far. It's a lot of retains. Alexa Bliss becomes Mrs. Money in the Bank. Big E becomes Mr. Money in the Bank. You know what? I don't think it's going to be a clean retained sweep. All right, I'm going to change Mysterios and Usos, and I'm going to actually say Usos. Yeah, guys. Yeah, I'm actually going to say Usos for the dub. But that's Money in the Bank. I saw a question that had hit the chat earlier. Do I think Naomi turns heel, wins Money in the Bank, joins the Blood? No. Nope. No, Kato. Nope. Nope. You know, Naomi put so many smiles on girls of all ages faces. You know, the young girls going into the teens. And I can tell you, having been to a couple of WWE events, when Naomi comes out, oh man, the girls really, really love Naomi. So to basically turn Naomi heel, all in the name of essentially trying to, you know, have her somehow be connected with the bloodline. I know a few people have been wanting to see something like that go on. Here's the only problem with that. If you're gonna go this whole bloodline route, then why not also extend this to Tamina? Why not also extend this to The Rock's daughter, Simone, that's down there training at the Performance Center? Why not extend this whole bloodline angle to you? You feel where I'm coming from? And not to mention, you also got to think about it from this standpoint. You don't need this getting diluted. You know, it's like you're in the kitchen. You're making a really good soup from scratch. You know, you got the broth just right. You got the seasoning. You got the herbs. You got the right kind of vegetables. You know, and it's tasting perfect, but you know, you keep adding more shit into it, you know, you might fuck that soup up. What's going on right now with the Usos and Roman, it is fine just as it is. And not for nothing, but when you really take a step back and you think about it, now that WWE is in front of live fans again, everything that's been happening these past 15 months, essentially WWE has been, picture WWE basically being that dog that was left in the house. Sure, it was able to feed itself, go use the bathroom and all of that, but it wasn't able to essentially go outside and get some fresh air and all that, right? Well, now that dog, WWE being that dog, now they're able to go out and get some fresh air. They're basically in front of the fans again. It's a second new lease on life. So some of these angles, like with the Roman Reigns thing and all that we've been seeing all these months, it'll continue on for an extra couple of months. And at this point, there's really no reason to be adding more layers that's honestly unnecessary. At this point, it's fine just as it is. It's fine just as it is. If you're going to do the whole bloodline thing, then you really need to connect all the dots and try to somehow make all of those other people intertwined with each other. Why not throw a bone to Tamina? Not Tamina, but why not also throw a bone to Nia Jackson there as well? Because, you know, she's actually part of that bloodline as well. So, like, where do you stop with the bloodline? Because anybody could make an argument, well, this person should be in it as well. And that person should be in it as well. Well, this person is deserving of being in it as well. You don't need all that. You don't need all that. So for those respected reasons, no, I don't see that going on with Naomi. Look, big fan of Naomi. My God, I just spent how many minutes actually defending Naomi there and all? Like, nah. All right, so on that note, that is it. It is 12:35 p.m. over here on the East Coast, and when this is edited, it's all said and done. This is pretty much gonna be, yeah, right about 2 hours, 24 minutes, which I'm cool with. All right, so programming notes. We've got this Saturday night after Slammiversary is over. Hop on YouTube and the platforms there. We'll be streaming live. We'll be covering Impact Wrestling Slammiversary Fallout. Looking forward to that. And then Sunday, July 18th, come right back here again. We'll be having our WWE Money in the Bank post show. So we will have the phone lines open, by the way. So if you guys actually wanna call in and sound off about the pay-per-view, you guys will definitely be able to do that on those respected post shows, all starting with that Slammiversary post show. And then, of course, Monday, the 19th of July, we got an all-new RCWR show, fresh off of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view Fallout. That should be a solid Monday night edition, so do tune in for that. Meanwhile, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, I don't know why, but the other night I actually had checked out some of the URL links in the synopsises when I put it together for those that's checking out the show on demand and the downloads, or those that's even watching the streams live. And sadly, the URLs, all but a couple, were dead. I had no clue, didn't receive any email notification whatsoever, so I actually effective with, I'm trying to think, whatever the last show was that I put out, I actually went on ahead and got new, fresh URL links. So going forward, for you guys that, hey, what's going on here? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many of you guys actually had clicked on some of the links in the synopsis, because I usually give information about how you can support the show. I also mentioned about some of our advertisers that we work with from time to time. By the way, shout out to them, especially our newest sponsor, AUTOPURCHASERS.com. Make sure you check them out. If you've been thinking about selling your vehicle, check them out. They'll definitely hook you up with a really good deal and everything. But yeah, so definitely peep that out. I get asked all the time, how can I try to do my part in supporting your show, because I feel your show is pretty solid. All I can say to that is definitely represent, check out the show on demand, on the downloads. Even if you checked out the show live, you watched the web stream, just as soon as you see on social media, oh, he made the audio version available, just go in, download it. It counts towards the stat and all that. Represent that way. It helps. Web stream, hit the like button and all that helps. Even when you're watching on demand, you may see some of the comments that come in and everything. Definitely go out of your way and still leave comments afterwards. It helps, really helps out big time. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. For those of you that tuned in live, we're interacting in the chat there briefly. That we're not trying to put yourselves over. Appreciate you as always. Appreciate those of you that's going to be checking it out on demand and on the downloads. Solid weekend we got coming up as far as wrestling action goes. Looking forward to covering it all with you guys, as month of July is getting very interesting. So y'all been with me this far. Seriously, as I get ready to wrap this show up, one final thought. Mad shout out to those of you that have been checking out the show all this time during the pandemic. I just thought I'd really mention that, because it's nice. I hear stories from some of you guys. One listener we had in the chat some weeks back, relative of theirs, I don't know if there was their uncle or what, but a relative of theirs was in the hospital. They were doing severely bad, health wise. I don't know if they had a stroke or whatever, because it was a while ago, and it was so touching to hear that my show was pretty much helping them get through those rough patches. I've heard of other people that have said to me, hey, I had recently lost my job, and, hearing your show, tuning in, checking it out, it's been helping me out. I appreciate that. I really, the fact that you guys welcome me into your ears when you have your not so good moments that's going on. I appreciate that. And I know there was a lot of people in however respective way, whether it was financially or just career wise, just had to do an overhaul, or health. Like somehow this pandemic had affected us all. And I tell you what, somehow we pushed through and just kept, making sure that there was a platform for you guys to come on, hang out. And and I just thought I'd say that because, it just really kind of made me take a step back and say, wow, we're starting to get back to normal here. But, at the same time, look at where we just were not that long ago. And look, it's a little bit scary right now. It's a little bit scary right now because we got that new variant that's running around, and we got people that are laxing. They are laxing. They are, to the point. Right before I came on live, I was trying to grab my water, and I actually saw Fox 5 News, locally here in DC, and they had shared some latest COVID numbers. The average daily case count has increased between the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. It's increased. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. The daily count for Virginia from June the 1st to the 15th, the daily case count was 151.4. For July 1st through the 15th so far, the daily case count, it's almost doubled. Now we're at 247. For Maryland, June 1st through the 15th, the daily case count, 99.86. July 1st through the 15th, the daily case count, 99.3. Then you look at DC, June 1st through 14th, daily case count, 15.57. July 1st through the 14th, the daily case count is 18. So just keep in mind what it's averaging between the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. If I remember, California had made the news. They're now talking about, wait a minute. It's like, we can't let up. Even those of us that got fully vaccinated, we still need to make sure until we're told differently, just as a precautionary, we definitely need to make sure we're continuing to do our parts, sanitize, stay clean, have that mask handy. Better to be safe than sorry. I always say, but we're getting there, but we gotta continue to do our part as a community in these United States of America to really kick the living shit out of this damn COVID so we can enjoy where things were right before. You feel where I'm coming from? But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that one. All right, y'all. Appreciate the love and the support as always. And until next go round, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Not that long, actually. Take care, y'all. Peace.